What up, Las Vegas? This is your man Tony, and today we're not in Las Vegas. America, the American Southwest, Southern Nevada. Perhaps one of the best kept secrets in the United States, this is a land of painted rock deserts, majestic mountains, exquisite wildlife, and copious outdoor playgrounds unlike anywhere else. Here's the story of our land and the place we call home. This is Southern Nevada. What up, Las Vegas, and welcome to another adventure. Today we find ourselves about 15 miles outside of the Las Vegas Valley in the small town of Goodsprings, Nevada. If you're looking for something more than the traditional Las Vegas Strip experience, Goodsprings is an excellent option. The town is chock full of history, offers fantastic hiking trails, excellent off-roading, and amazing events at the cultural center of the town, the Pioneer Saloon. So hang on tight and hold on to your hats as we take you on this old western adventure in the town of Goodsprings. Now you'll probably notice a few things right when you get into town. The first being that it seems like everybody and their mama is cruising the main drag right in front of the saloon. Everything from motorcycles, recreational vehicles, and just regular everyday cars just cruising around checking out the old town. Now the other thing that you'll notice right when you get into town is this big dense area of vegetation right off the main drag. This marks the location of the natural springs, which have provided sustenance to everyone from the early Native American inhabitants, ranchers, miners, and early settlers to the area. But the springs have particular historic importance to one specific Spanish explorer and the lands he chronicled. If you've had a chance to check out our downtown Las Vegas video, you will know who Antonio Armijo is, and his trek down what is now known as the Old Spanish Trail. These springs provided necessary water for him and his crew. But one thing that actually goes through Goodsprings is the Old Spanish Trail. If you look to my right here, there's a marker. Now the Old Spanish Trail was discovered by Antonio Armijo back in the 1830s. You want to know more about Antonio Armijo, you can always look at our downtown Las Vegas video. I give him a shout out there, so you might want to check that out. But yeah, if we pan off to the left here, if you look to the left, you'll see this road. This road was the Old Spanish Trail. So definitely, if you're out here in Goodsprings, come and check this out. One last thing about the springs before we move on. You might have guessed that the springs have some bearing on the name of the town. Well, in the 1860s, a man by the name of Joseph Good would bring his cattle to water here at the springs. The people would refer to the area as Mr. Good's Springs. The name stuck and eventually became just Goodsprings. Now, the reason people visit the town is to experience the history and the culture. Most of the structures that you see were built in the late 1800s and early 1900s. In fact, Goodsprings experienced a boom post-Civil War and pre-World War I. Of course, the town owes its existence to mining, especially copper, zinc, silver, and gold. If you look close enough, you'll be able to find the oldest schoolhouse and the oldest known structure in southern Nevada. The oldest schoolhouse in Goodsprings. Definitely, we know your classmates in there, that's for sure. Now, of course, Goodsprings wouldn't be Goodsprings without the iconic Pioneer Saloon. But pay close attention, because these walls, the walls of the saloon, tell their own stories. Stories of shootouts, drunken brawls, fast gambling, and movie stardom. At this point, you might be saying to yourself, I've seen that place before. And you know what? You're probably right. Goodsprings and the Pioneer Saloon has been in many movies, including Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas with Johnny Depp, The Mexican with Brad Pitt, Things Are Tough All Over with Cheech and Chong, and Miss Congeniality 2 with Sandra Bullock. There's another famous power couple that is synonymous with Goodsprings and the Pioneer Saloon. I'll get into that in a few minutes when I go on the inside. In the meantime, I'm going to take a hike at the old Goodsprings trails and explore the old structures a little more. When I'm done, it'll be time to get a little something to eat, and after that, head back to Vegas again. So off we go to the Goodsprings Trail. Decisions. Which way do we go here? Well, I'm going to be out here all day, so pretty much doesn't matter. One thing I love about the Goodsprings Trail is that it really feels like you're walking into the past. The trail follows a good part of the old train tracks that lead to the Potosi Mountains, where most of the mining was done. Unfortunately, Potosi Mountain is known for a more tragic incident involving Carol Lombard, the wife of Clark Gable. In 1942, her plane crashed in the Potosi Mountains. So here with my new friend here, actually, still in the Pioneer Saloon. We got Pioneer Saloon and the Pioneer Steakhouse, so just the cafe portion is open for right now. Take a look at the ceiling here. You can see the old Western style lanterns. See the old wood. A little something here. Got chicken sandwich. Some potatoes. I'm sorry, potato chips. I already ate some of the potato chips. About $12. So, I'll tell you how it is when I'm done. Alright, that's pretty good. I want to make you guys hungry by eating in front of you here, but yeah, I'll show you around the place a little bit. One thing to remember is that this is the American Southwest, in the state of Nevada no less. And what would Nevada be without a little bit of gaming? Well, miners would come to the Pioneer Saloon not only to wet their whistles, but to play a few hands of poker. In fact, the Pioneer Saloon is more infamous for its poker and blackjack than it is for its Jack Daniels and Jim Beam. Probably one of the most famous incidents at the saloon was the shooting of miner Paul Koski in 1915. Now, old Paul was known to be a bit of a drinker, and when Paul got drunk, he became a little ornery. Well, one night, Paul thought he would play a fast one and play a dirty hand of poker. The dealer, Joe Armstrong, didn't take lightly to old Paul's cheating ways, and in no uncertain terms asked him to leave. Long story short, a scuffle ensued, and Joe went Clint Eastwood on old Paul and killed him dead. You can still see the bullet holes from the encounter to this day. We'll go inside the dining room. 1913 to 2013. At least that's when the window was made. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Read some of the things that are on some of the items that are on the wall. Chandelier. Yep, there's Clark Gable over there. We'll get a little closer. Some of the people that have been here. As you can see, the room is dedicated to Clark Gable and Carol Lombard. However, it is not only movies that have made Goodsprings famous, but also musicians, politicians, and even video games. Politicians, like Las Vegas Mayor Oscar Goodman, musicians, like country singer Travis Tritt, and even video games, like Fallout Las Vegas, all use Goodsprings as a backdrop for their respective mediums. Of course, you could spend hours here viewing the many pictures of all the celebrities and movies and music that has been produced here. The biggest draw of all, however, is the Clark Gable and Carolyn Lombard Memorial. Clark Gable spent many of days at the Pioneer Saloon waiting on word about the whereabouts of his wife. You can even ask the bartender to sit where Clark Gable sat and drink where Clark Gable drank at the bar. I'm not going to spoil everything, so I'm going to leave it to you to come down and take a look at some of the other celebrities that have been patrons here. But now it's time to head out and take one last look at the building before leaving town. So yeah, if you ever want to see something different, want to get off the strip and experience some of the culture and history of the state, it's a great place to come to. Pioneer Saloon. Alright, let's get back into town.